Olupot George Patrick. I'm a medical officer. I'm also the chairperson board, Varam Sickle Cell Foundation. And to start with, I would like to bring a brief history about sickle cell disease, which has been there for centuries of decades. And sickle cell as a condition was discovered in Africa, that is about 7,000 years ago, as a blood disorder that affected the red blood cell. It was a mutation that occurred in the protein in the red blood cell that actually affected the cell that transports oxygen in the body. So by then, it was a mutation that occurred as an advantage to avert malaria as an infection. And malaria by then was an endemic condition in African states. And it was the most or the highest killer of people by that time. So when this mutation occurred in the red blood cell, those who had the mutation actually survived from malaria. And it was a good advantage for us. But then later, those who had the gene or the mutated gene in the red blood cell continued intermixing and produced people who now inherited the complete gene. For all of us know that for a child to be born, both parents contribute a half of their genes to make a complete gene that forms a human being. So if the father contributed a half of the trait and the mother contributed a half of the trait, then the child who is born will have a complete gene. So this complete gene for sickle cell then became a challenge to our system. So that's what causes all the complications associated with sickle cell disease. So our purpose, now from that time, there have been so many attempts on management of sickle cell and a lot of discoveries. One of the discoveries that was early reported showed that sickle cell affected the protein that carries oxygen in our system and makes it sticky, rigid, and in a crescent shape. So the red cell itself fails to do its function of oxygen carriage, and that poses a big challenge in our system as human beings. So for years, science has tried to study more about sickle cell and to discover how to manage it. Since it is a mutation that occurred in our genetics, it's quite difficult to just eliminate it. But there are so many protocols on treatment and management that have been designed to help those who suffer this condition to live a better life. And also there have been attempts trying to minimize or to reduce the incidence of sickle cell disease. For what I want to clarify again is that when you have the sickle cell trait, what we call the a half gene of the sickle cell, you are termed a carrier. You carry the gene, but you don't suffer the complications of sickle cell. So means that you can pass or you can give out that trait to your children in reproduction. So there are attempts that if we prevent carriers, those people who have the half gene to come together, there will be no chance to produce a person or a human being who suffers the problems of sickle cell. So carriers live a better life and they are protected from severe forms of malaria. Those who inherit the complete gene from his or her parents will definitely suffer the consequences. So the burden is that those who inherit the double gene or who get the complete gene suffer in the rest of their life. So We in the medical field then feel that why don't we speak out and start advocating for people to get to know their status, and then we prevent carriers coming together so that we reduce chances of producing people who suffer or who have sickle cell disease.
Our partners, Clean Zone, we have Tamale Foundation, we have Triple X Vet Center that have come through all this. My name is Vicky Irebu. I'm the Executive Director of Varam Sickle Cell Foundation. Today we are here celebrating the World Sickle Cell Day. So today I am here to tell you about Varam Sickle Cell Foundation, why we have come up with the foundation called Varam. Some people might be wondering what Varam is and then all that. So I will come into that. But the major reason why we started the Varam Sickle Cell Foundation was to break the cycle of sickle cell. When we moved out to the community, we realized that people with sickle cell are not valued. Like, people don't know that much information about sickle cell. They only get to know about sickle cell when they come to the hospital and the child is diagnosed with sickle cell. That is the only way they know about sickle cell, but they don't know how sickle cell comes about. They hear about it, but they're not very sure how it comes about. So today, Varam Sickle Cell Foundation has come up. We have warriors here that they've organized the skits. They're going to tell us more the experience that they have as warriors. We call them warriors, children that live with sickle cell. So we are here today, and we are telling you that sickle cell is a very dangerous disease. It's a very big burden in Teso region. That's why Varam has come up as a foundation to see how best can we break the chain of sickle cell in our Teso region. So what we do in Varam, we go for outreaches and then we screen. We do free sickle cell screening. When we go to the field, when we go to schools, we go to the community, we reach out to churches, very many places. So today Varam has come up with this because of the burden, the problems that we have seen into the community. These parents, the children, the warriors are abandoned. Parents give up on them. We have a lot of single mothers. Why? It is because of sickle cell. They got into marriage without getting to know what sickle cell is. They did not test. That is why today Varam is here doing a free sickle cell screening. Today, by 2 years from now, by the time you have a child, you would have decided that which child am I bringing into the world? Do I want to bring a sick child? Because these parents, when you interact with them, they have a lot of challenges they go through. You cannot sleep at night when the child is crying. That is why Varam today has come up. Let everyone screen. Our target is the youth and then the small children. We want to identify the small children that already have sickle cell and they don't know. We screen them and then we link them into care. We link them into near facilities where they can get treatment. And then the youth, we are more interested in the youth because these are the fathers and the mothers in the near future. Anytime they can get pregnant. So we want to make sure that every youth test for sickle cell. Before you get into a relationship, get to know your partner's status. It is really very important. Let's not take it for granted. Sickle cell is very dangerous. You can be a carrier when you don't know. How do you know? It is by testing. When you test and you get to know you're a carrier, just as doctor has spoken about it, if I am a carrier, I shouldn't get into a carrier again. That is the only way we can break the chain of sickle cell. But if I do not test and I'm a carrier, then I get into another carrier who has also not tested. So we have higher chances of bringing children with sickle cell. And that is what we are fighting for today in Teso region. Those warriors will give us their testimonies. They're going to talk about it, how they go about it. They're so stigmatized about it because when they tell you that you have sickle cell, some of them fear. They don't want people to know about the sickle cell status. But when we move closer to them and we talk to them, most of them have accepted that I have sickle cell and I'm not going to die tomorrow or today. They also live. They can go to school like they're like any other person. They also live like us. The only difference is that they're warriors. They have sickle cell. But they can go to school, learn. After school, they can work. They can do any kind of a job as long as that you have gone to school. So we have seen that many children have been abandoned by parents. They live with the single mothers, they live with the single fathers, they live with grandmothers. The child that really made me to think of starting Varam Sickle Cell Foundation one time came to the hospital. When I asked him how old he is, he didn't know. Like, but you can see can be like 2 years, like 12 years, 13 years, but honestly, he could not speak about it. He has no shoes, dressed like a street kid. He doesn't know where the father is. It is all because of sickle cell. So he stays with the grandparents. One is blind and then one can see, but remember they are old. But the neighbor told them that you can go when you go to the hospital, you can be treated, you can be linked, they can link you into care, and you get drugs that at least can reduce the crisis. So the grandparents took long even to look for transport for that boy to come from Serere up to Soroti to the hospital to get treatment. That is how I came across that boy, and it really touched my heart. I said, if I sit down, how can these children with sickle cell be helped? Their voices are not heard anywhere. The people look at them like they are a problem. They can even be like, our parents can tell us that we cannot take you to school, at the same time we are taking you to the hospital. That is wasting resources. You get, by the time a child talks about it, it's really so painful. They go through a lot. So we really need to put in our hands together and make sure that the cycle of sickle cell is broken. It starts with me and you. Together we can break the chain of sickle cell. Today, when you have got this information that sickle cell is very dangerous, why can't you go and test? That test is for free. Counseling is for free. We have Kingston Medical Center. They are also doing free sickle cell screening. I am going to welcome him, and then he's going to tell us the services that they offer besides sickle cell screening, but our interest is sickle cell screening. So when you're within Opuyo next to Kingston Medical Center, please don't hesitate. Go all with your family and do free sickle cell screening. This is the only way we can break the chain of sickle cell.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Ankoni Claire from Katagri District, a sickle cell warrior. Surviving with sickle cell disease is not something easy. And sickle cell disease is not something we can talk just in a day. For 1 billion of us, 1,000 of us who are surviving with sickle cell, it's not something easy. Sickle cell disease is a disease that comes with unpredictabilities. You can't know when it comes. Anytime it can attack you. Me, it has been something very hard. And to my community, sickle cell has caused a lot of harm to our community. Most especially to families. Sickle cell has caused more domestic violence in families. Sickle cell warriors, people always call us sickle cell patients, but to us, me, I prefer calling us warriors, because we fight invisible wars that people can't see sometimes. But today, I thank Varam Sickle Cell Foundation for bringing this awareness and standing up as a voice for us to help us break the cycle of sickle cell. I would like to tell the community my story. Surviving with sickle cell, I am 20 years now in the university. I'm in Chambogo University in my year 1, now I'm joining year 2. Surviving with sickle cell has not been something easy for me. There are some times you need to go to school, but there is rain, it's cold, you don't have to go to school. In a term, there's 3 months, but as a sickle cell child, you end up even attending class only for a month, which is something is not easy. And the government, the teachers don't, by the way, see like, for you, you have not come to school for the whole term. They expect you to perform as others, which is something very hectic for us. But today I speak as a sickle cell warrior and a survivor to encourage my sickle cell warriors outside there that we can make it. It starts with mindset. How have I managed it? It starts with mindset. Me, I decided to say sickle cell can't define my future. It can't define my dreams. It can't define my education. So I stand today as a sickle cell warrior to encourage everyone outside there that sickle cell children, sickle cell survivors, sickle cell warriors also have talent. They also have right to go to school. They also have right to leadership. They also have other things they need, but because of the disease they have, they are being neglected, they are being ignored. Like, these kids are sickle cell warriors. Like, sickle cell, you can't go to school, you can't do anything. Even in, if you go to job market, sickle cell people have been ignored because they think they are going to be falling sick all the time. But I want to tell today people that it starts with your mind. When you start, like me, as a Claire today, I've decided to break it. I say no to sickle cell. Though I have it, but today I decided to say no. I stand as a sickle cell warrior and to encourage and to influence and to motivate every sickle cell warrior that you can make it, just like I've come far with it. So today I want to encourage everyone that you can make it. To all my sickle cell warriors, to all parents with sickle cell, you didn't make a mistake. It's just because that sickle cell awareness wasn't being carried out early. Many parents never knew about sickle cell. Even up to now, a few people know just because maybe they have sickle cell patients with them. But today I want to thank Varam to come out to give us a voice for sickle cell awareness. When we all know our status, when we know our genotype, it's easier for you to know which kind of a person are you going to bring to this world. If me, a sickler, gets married to a fellow sickler, which means we are going to bring sick patients, and you know how sickle cell can be hectic to us. Sickle cell gives you sleepless nights, you don't have peace, even sometimes even breath is difficult for us. But today I stand to tell everyone outside there that if you know your genotype, if you know the kind of a partner you're having, it's better you test, know a kind of a partner, know your genotype. If all of you have sickle cell or one partner is a carrier, and me as a sickle cell warrior, I get to know that I'm in a relationship with a sickle cell or a carrier, we can break it. We can decide not to go together so that we break the cycle of sickle cell. When we know which person is coming out, it's easier. And I encourage for those young children who are being diagnosed with sickle cell and to the people surviving with sickle cell, you can make it. It starts with self-care. Follow your treatment besides putting God first in everything. Follow your treatment. That is the journey we are in. It is you to follow and accept that we have sickle cell. And when you accept, it's just like when you have a problem. Yes, you've seen a problem. And now, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to fold your hands and sit? No. Today we say no. For those having sickle cell, and even parents having young children with sickle cell, young babies with sickle cell, it starts with treatment. Put God first. Treatment is a key. Taking water. Follow the medical advice. Be on warm things. There are other things you also feel like to do as a sickle cell child, like swimming, but because of your condition, you have to avoid other things so that we can make it, so that you can go to school. I encourage every sickle cell that you can make it, you can go to school. Like yesterday, I was attacked. I was in the village. I went to the hospital. I was bypassing the hospital. I found a girl with sickle cell. The mother has passed. She's the head of the family. There are two, the boy and the girl. They are the head of the family. The mother passed. The father has left because they have sickle cell. They are the ones heading their family. Now such kids, they are the ones heading their families. They are having sickle cell. Really, you're in the hospital, no one to take care of you. But I stand with leaders and institutions and different organizations that we should speak about sickle cell. Because I've never heard anyone talk about sickle cell. But today I thank Varam, Etop, and all some people who have put in their hands to come here to talk about sickle cell and to help us. We need a lot of support. We need care. Because when we are given care, love and support, we can also survive as any other normal human being.
Thank you very much. My name is Jimmy Julius Moviri. I'm the Chief Operations Officer at Clinison Medical Center. Clinison Medical Center, we are located in Owale on Bale Road, between Sun City Amusement Park and Stambex Petrol Station. That is where you can find us. I'm glad that today we have an opportunity to stand together with VALM Sickle Cell Foundation in acknowledging sickle cells in the world, standing together with the whole world. Sickle cells, as it's been stated, it is a silent killer. Most people have not been exposed to the knowledge about the disease, but this disease is common in the public. And today we join up together with everybody to advocate, to fight the stigma, especially to our warriors who are already living with the disease. You find that in most of the communities they are stigmatized at schools, they are stigmatized, they are looked at as misfits in society, but that's not really the actual sense. We advocate that we step out the stigma and let's move out to create awareness to the community that everyone at least should take it as an initiative to understand, to know their sickle cell status.
I will once again introduce myself. Stella Kia. I handle promotions in network radio, and my major role always is to link the radio and the community and other partners. I want to thank Varam so much for honoring Eto to work with you in this very important day. As Eto, we don't just take this honor lightly. We so much appreciate it so much, and we're actually pledging to continue working with you in any other aspect for as long as it's something that can change, possibly change to the community that we serve.